What's up, fellas? Welcome back. I am Big Fella, and you gotta realize there comes a time in your life where some companies they make a lot of stupid decisions, and these decisions can range from canceling projects that we really admire, getting rid of a creative head that brought them in a lot of money, or doing something generally that the fans or the masses didn't agree with. And if you're wondering what the hell it is I'm talking about, I'm talking about a specific company, one that has been a part of a lot of our lives in terms of entertainment, Warner Brothers. Now, Warner Brothers has brought us a lot of good stuff. It's been the producers of the Looney Tunes, the Scooby Doo cartoons, even a lot of the animated DC movies back in the day that are the ones that are still being made now that are still pretty good. But there have been a lot of L's that I have seen lately. After coming across something on TikTok, as well as reading up on information, Warner Brothers has made a lot of really questionable decisions. For instance, there were a lot of projects that were related to Batman Beyond, the 1990s sequel series, well, sequel sort of, to Batman the Animated Series and part of the big DC animated universe. There was supposed to be a live action Batman Beyond movie. That got canceled. And as well, I'm sure you guys have heard about this, but there was supposed to be an animated movie based on Batman Beyond in the lieu of the animation similar to Sony's Spider Man Across the Spider Verse. The look of the concept art, it looked like this movie could have been the Across the Spider Verse of DC animated projects. It could have been fantastic. I mean, imagining a futuristic world with Terry McGinnis back as Batman. I mean, it would have been nice if they had gotten Will Friedle to voice him in that movie. But the fact that we never got that movie and it was canceled by Warner Brothers, that is very disappointing. And not only that, I do not remember exactly the name of this comic, but they gave the go ahead for a Harley Quinn comic, which, like I said, I don't remember the name, but I heard it was very mid, but a lot of people were also saying it was pretty bad. And lately, there were two other decisions that I was very disappointed with. For one, there was supposed to be a Wonder Woman video game that, I mean, there was not a lot of details about it, but there was supposedly a Wonder Woman video game in development, and for one, I think it would have been good. It could have made up for Wonder Woman's portrayal in Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Now, I'm not saying that like the cast did a good job. The cast they were doing their job. It was the developers that like wreaked havoc on that game, like making Batman easily killable on a park bench, killing Green Lantern with bullets, or Superman. I won't get into all that, but it definitely left a lot to be desired. And if they had made a proper Wonder Woman video game, probably one in say, if I would have been head designer on this game, I would have made it similar to probably the Uncharted games. I mean, imagine having a game like that where you play as Wonder Woman fighting bad guys or using the lasso of truth to swing around like Spider Man. That would have been really cool. It could have been a great game. But unfortunately, that game got canceled. And a lot of people that I've watched on YouTube were like, "Oh, that's no big deal. It's woke or whatever." I'm like, "How would you guys even know? You're hating on it because I don't know, Wonder Woman is the main character, and yet we have video games where Lara Croft was the main character or Samus in Metroid." I'm just the way the entertainment industry has changed a lot. It's really gotten to me, fellas. It's just it sucks. But the last mistake that Warner Brothers that they've done, it could have made a lot of games like so much better. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But I want to ask you guys, how many of you remember the Shadow of War or Shadow of Mordor? The two video games where you play as technically an undead watcher bound to the elf king Celebrimbor and basically wage war on the orcs and Sauron's army prior to the events of Lord of the Rings. Those games were fun as hell. I used to play Shadow of War all the time. I did play Shadow of Mordor. I knew what happened. But honestly, I preferred Shadow of War because you could literally recruit all these orcs into your army. You could make them your bodyguards, your spies, your whatever. You could literally pit your strongest fighter into a fighting pit and proceed to like climb the ranks. I mean, of course, you had to be wise with who you picked depending on what their weaknesses were, their strengths, whatever. But the one thing that I really loved about this game was the Nemesis system. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, and I'm sure many of you already know what it is, but for those of you who aren't, it is a mechanic that basically, if you fought a villain and they escaped, they would remember you and come back for you later. And that could lead to unique interactions between yourself, the enemies, even your own allies, depending on if they betrayed you or not. Because let's face it, betrayal in that game was as common as the cold. But here's the thing. Warner Brothers, because this game was a property of Warner Brothers Games, they own the patent for it, which means that they're the only ones that can implement this mechanic into whatever games they do. And the patent for this expires in 2036. That means for the next 11 years, they're going to hold power over this, and no other company in the business can have the rights to the Nemesis system. And to tell you the truth, that is such BS, because there were a lot of games that have come out within the last few years that could have been something with this system. Some games that are I actually heard about thanks to Jacob Wiebe. Shout out Jacob Wiebe, keep up the good work, man. Would be these 3 games that I've played, and 2 that I love, and 1 not so much because the bugs and the sordid history. Ghosts of Tsushima. The Nemesis system in that game would have been fantastic. Imagine you massacre a whole village of Mongols, or not a whole village, but basically you kill most of them, and some of them escape. If they come back for you later, that could lead to like some interesting fights between you and them throughout the game. Like if you're about to like go free roaming and then all of a sudden they jump out and attack you, that would be a really bad day. That would be a really bad day for you, especially if you leave like a sole survivor and the process just keeps repeating. But it would be interesting, especially like if for every time you fight them and they escape, they level up or so on and so forth. Another game that would have been really fun with the Nemesis system, was Red Dead Redemption 2. I've played that game so much throughout the last few years since it came out. I've beaten it multiple times, and to this day, there is stuff that I'm still figuring out about it. I'm still seeing, like, these hidden treasure locations, hidden weapons, hidden everything. They Rocksteady put so no, not Rocksteady. No, not Rocksteady. Rockstar. Rockstar put so much attention to detail into this world. It's beautiful. And the fact that like I didn't even like cover I don't think even a quarter of what was in there. Oof. That just shows you how much work they put into this game, and that's what makes this game so damn awesome. But a nemesis system in this game, I would like to imagine if you shoot someone and they live, they could come back for you later in an ambush. Kind of like random encounters with the Lemoyne Raiders or the KKK in the game. But if like the Nemesis system was in this game, it would have led to like a lot more of these encounters. Like as I said before with Ghost of Tsushima, if one guy escapes, it could get progressively harder and harder. Like for first instance, you go up against a couple gunmen. Next time they have a bunch of guys on horseback. Next time they come at you with a freaking Gatling gun. And if it gets even higher than that, they could send like 24 guys after you. I don't know. We will never know because the Nemesis system is owned by Warner Brothers. And this final game, now I did play this game. I've played it multiple times. I'm fully aware of the lore. I'm more a fan of the anime adaptation. And if you don't know what I'm talking about Cyberpunk 2077. When it came out, it was not what we expected. It was buggy, things did not work out how they were supposed to, but it was still a decent game to enjoy, and I do enjoy it. But I frankly think this game would have been a whole lot better with a Nemesis system. Because, much like with these last two entries, if you go after someone and they escape, that could lead to more bad guys coming after you. I could only imagine if they had implemented the Nemesis system with Atom Smasher, and if there had been an option in the game if you tried to fight Atom Smasher and you don't kill him, but if you do significant damage to him, he comes back at you like with more weapons, more enemies to fight alongside him, everything. But like I said, because Warner Brothers owns the Nemesis system, has the patent for it, we will never know. And that's the biggest L in this landslide of bad decisions. I know I'm just a fan to them. I'm just one voice among many, but I'm pretty sure I could speak for everyone when they say that the Nemesis system should have been open to everyone because it was a great mechanic. It would have been great for a lot of games to flesh out their world or whatever. But like I said, it doesn't work that way. The entertainment industry, video games, it's an uphill slope. And but yeah, I mean, I still have hope that maybe once the patent expires, someone else could get it or somebody else could see the potential for it because it would be a great thing to implement into this game. But until then, we won't know. What are some suggestions that you would have me for? What are some suggestions that you'd like me to do for another video? Or frankly, if you ever want to see me play these video games or any other video games, give me some suggestions in the comments. Or better yet, just keep an eye on my YouTube channel because Big Fella Plays is coming. I would like it if I could become a gaming YouTuber, gaming commentary, kind of like Penguin Z0. We all love him. But until then, just let me know what you think, guys. As always, I'm Big Fella, and I will see you next time.